So example 4, page 276. So let me repeat the example. Linda has taken 4 maths tests so far. Each test has been marked out of 20. The average mark has been 15. And how much does she need in the 5th test to raise the average to 16? Now in this case, remember what we have talked earlier. We are now trying to measure the center. Alright. And there are 3 ways of doing that, which is the median, the mode, and also the mean, alright, or the average. So in this case, this is an example of an average question. Okay. So every single time when you see a problem solving question, the first thing that you have to do is always to write down the information that has been given to you in the question. All right, make sure you write down the information. So let us begin. You have taken 4 maths tests. Linda has taken 4 maths tests. Each has been marked out of 20. The average has been 15. We'll stop there first. So what we're going to do here is you're going to write, okay, the average. Okay, remember this symbol here? This symbol here means the sum of how many tests or how many objects or items that they have taken so far. So in this case here, this is the sum of the marks that have been given so far. All right, and remember, we are talking about the first mean. All right, so remember we have x bar equals to sum of the marks. In this case, what do we divide it by? We divide it by 4. Thank you. So when we divide it by 4, what was the average given so far in the first section? Is it 15? I heard someone say 15. Yes, 15. Good. Okay. So what do we do here? Because each test has been taken out 20 marks. All right. You don't have to worry about that first. All right. All we need to concentrate on here is, given that the mean has been averaged to 15 and she has taken 4 so far. So which means we need to find out the sum of the entire marks of the 4 tests. So what do? We have 15 times 4, because we bring this 4 over to this side. If this one is divided by 4, when we bring it to the right hand side, what do? You times by 4, and that will be 60. Okay, so it does make sense. Each test is 20 marks. So if it's 4 tests that she has taken so far, the total here is 80. All right, and she has scored 60 out of 80. Does that make sense so far? Oh, good. Okay, so this is the sum of the marks that she has obtained for her math test after 4 times, which is 60 marks out of 80, because 20 marks per test. You have taken 4, so 20 by 4 will give you 80. Does that make sense so far? Good. So now, what mark does she need in the 5th test to average it to 16? Now we're talking of a different situation. The first one was talking about 4 tests. Now you're talking about 5. Okay? So in this case here, let us assume the 5th test is x. Okay, because we do not know this value at this moment. Oops, not text, it's supposed to be test. All right, so again, we are given the score of average of 16. All right, how does she need to raise it to 16? So in this case here, you have 5 tests. How many tests has she taken before this? How many has she taken before this? 4. Good. So now this is the 5th. So 4 plus 1 here. Now if she takes it this round, it will be 5 tests in total. Make sense? So what we need to do, we need to again calculate the mean, because the mean given here, the new mean, is actually 16. So we have x bar as usual equals to, now we have to write here the sum of the 4 marks given to you before that. And then, sorry? Yes, Olivia? Wait, hang on. Remember that was the definition because now we are talking about a new mean. All right, this is the new mean that we are talking about. You are still following the same formula as before, but now we're adding in the four marks from the four tests. All right, and then we divide it by how many times this time? 5. Good. And that will give you 16 in total. All right, that was the average. So the two of you who were asking me before, do you see the logic here? Initially, yes, you still calculate it, but that is the sum of the marks out of 4 tests so far.
No, but can't you just write where on the second formula? Can't you just write 60 plus x over 5?
Yes, you can definitely write it, but sometimes I like to show the formula first so that you know where the 60 comes from. Okay, that's all right, but that's a good question. I like it when people start questioning. All right, so here the sum of the marks from the 4 tests would be 60, like what the two of you have mentioned before. You add to x, divide by 5, and that will give you 16, correct? So now, what do we do with the 5 here? Yep, you times it by 16, you bring it over. So you're left with 60 plus x equals to 16 times 5. And that would be 80 in total. Now, how much is x in this case here? You have 60 plus x. What's the next move? Thank you. So 80 take away 60 will give you 20. So what does it actually mean in this case here? If x is 20, the 5th test is actually 20 marks that she has to score. What was the total of each test that was been mentioned in? Sorry? Yes, it was 20. So in order for her to increase her average from 15, which is this one here, to 16, in her 5th test, she needs to get full marks for it. All right, does it make sense? So again, when there's a problem solving, what do I do at the end? Finish the sentence. So she needs a mark of 20 in the 5th test. All right. So my suggestion here, all right, although this is an example from the book, but how I write it is actually very different from what the book is being, writing in terms of how you order your answers. That's my main point here. Okay. So again, if you are confused, if you think that it's not going to do any good for you in an exam, make sure you write the information down. Okay. So after this, questions 8 and questions 9, just do that. And we're going to concentrate on the next one. All right.